What is up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the F1 Gridlock podcast. As always, I'm here, your host, or one of your hosts, Nathan, and I'm always here with Chase. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm excellent. Really enjoyed the race this last weekend. We're recording this actually on Thursday. No, Friday. Jeez,
Friday.
My week has been so messed up. We're recording this on Friday, and they're already practicing for the Styrian Grand Prix. So we're like, normally we record these on Wednesdays, but we're a little behind because we've both been busy. So we're gonna have to do this again in a few days after they're done racing in
Right?
Austria. I look forward to it though. I can't. I love Austria, but let's
Yeah.
focus on the 2021 French Grand Prix. Chase, it was a banger.
It was. It
It was a
was
banger.
action-packed in all the right ways.
Exactly. Great racing. Let's take a look at qualifying. We had Max in first. We had Lewis qualify second. We had Valtteri Bottas in third, and Sergio Perez in fourth. That's pretty darn good for Red Bull and obviously Mercedes. But then our final race result: Max Verstappen in first, Lewis Hamilton in second, Sergio Perez in third. That's your top. That's your podium. There's your top three. Then fourth place goes to Valtteri Bottas. Fifth place, Lando Norris. Sixth place, Daniel Ricciardo. Seventh place, Pierre Gasly. Eighth place, Fernando Alonso. Ninth place, Sebastian Vettel. 10th place, Lance Stroll. 11th, Carlos Sainz. 12th place, George Russell. 13th place, Yuki Tsunoda. 14th, Esteban Ocon. 15th, Antonio Giovinazzi. 16th, Charles Leclerc. 17th, Kimi Räikkönen. 18th, Nicholas Latifi. And 19th of 20th, it is, of course, the Haas drivers, Mick Schumacher and Nikita Mazepin. All right,
No
Chase.
DNFs. That's pretty good.
No DNFs. This, most of these people weren't in the race, but no DNFs. So a nice wide open track like France with I don't think there's a ton of barriers around the actual track itself. A lot of runoff space.
Mostly runoff.
Yeah, I had a feeling there weren't going to be a lot of DNFs unless their cars break down. Which, looking at you, Haas, honestly, well, although nobody's been super.
No one's consistently broken down.
Yeah, exactly.
I'd say.
All right, Chase. Well, let's just get right into it. Give me your one-word review.
My one-word review is confirmation.
Love it.
Confirmation that Red Bull and Max Verstappen are actually good. And I say that because we all know they're good. But you could have chalked up a lot of theirs to, Mercedes just did bad. Mercedes were just bad in those weekends. But now it's getting to a point where you can no longer say, it's Mercedes' fault that they're not winning. If you know what I mean. I think we're now at the point where it's finally, so it's been Red Bull's, it's been Red Bull's fault that they're winning, if you know what I mean. Not their fault,
yes,
but
it's been their innovation, their driver. They are winning. It is not Mercedes losing. I know exactly what you mean. My one-word description for this race, Chase, has to be masterclass.
Mm-hmm.
When I look at Red Bull, and I know we talked about this last week, that Red Bull strategy was amazing last week. It was perfection again this week.
Oh yeah.
It was a masterclass in racing. Chase, I cannot stress how important it is to have good, consistent pit stops.
Oh yeah.
I hold my breath whenever any other team goes in for a pit stop because I honestly never know. I don't even blink when Red Bull goes in for a pit stop because I know it's going to be sub 2.5 and they're going to be in and out. I can't remember the last time there was a serious complication. I mean, they just run so smoothly. And this race was just a masterclass, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. When Red Bull goes to pit stop, what happens for me is not, are they going to get sub 3 second? It's, are they going to get a time that starts with the 1 or a time that starts with the 2. That's what I'm looking for when Red
Yeah.
Bull
Yeah,
hits.
exactly. You just want to see if they can break their own record.
Exactly.
Like, it's insane. It's
Exactly.
insane. It's insane. Red Bull, absolute masterclass. All right, Chase, hit me with your driver of the day.
All right, so I had 2 drivers of the day, kinda. I've more of a honorable mention and a driver of the day.
Absolutely.
So the driver of the day, Perez, hands down, amazing drive from him. He did exactly, once again, what he needed to do. Once again, he's proving the point that, yeah, this second Red Bull seat is mine for a reason.
Absolutely.
And then you gotta love the willingness to let Max pass him. That can't go unnoticed.
Oh, I forgot
Perfect.
about that.
Exactly what he needs to do. And that's why for me, like, Perez is hands down driver of the day. Maybe he didn't, maybe you could make the argument that he wasn't the best driver, like how he drove, but the fact that he lets Max pass him, even though it's what he should do, you still gotta give him kudo points for that.
That I completely forgot about that. That boggled my mind when I was watching it because they obviously during the race they'll like show or they'll like let you hear what the drivers are saying. And I
Mm-hmm.
think he told him he was like, "Let's get him." Like he was like, "Let's go get him together." And I was like, "What a great teammate."
Oh
Holy
yeah.
cow. That like like I love Sergio Perez and he's obviously a fantastic driver. I think he's definitely a top 5 driver currently with
Yep.
the car he's in. But to recognize like your teammate is on a run, he's quicker than you, and to not even give it a second thought, he pulled over and he
Exactly.
let Max go past him. And I don't even think there probably wasn't even like a team order. Like you know how sometimes
Oh
uh,
yep.
teams will be like, "Hey, bud, you got to move over." And I bet
Mm-hmm.
he was like, "No, I'm letting Max pass. Let's go get him together." Like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
What
what
you're
a
saying is it was more of a discussion, less of a command.
yeah, exactly. I think
My
I completely forgot about that. Oh my gosh, Sergio
my
Perez,
respect for
hats
him
off, hats
went
off.
way up, dude. Because, like you said, he didn't fight it. He didn't fight it. He didn't sound sad. He sounded happy that him and his teammate are about to go do this awesome thing.
Exactly. Exactly. I love that. I love that. I
Yeah,
completely forgot about that. Honestly, if I had to remember that, he might have been my driver of the day too,
yeah,
but
exactly. So then, my honorable mention, Ricardo. And before the podcast, Nate goes, "I wonder why you chose him." There's a couple reasons. First, good finish, 6th place. That's a good finish for Ricardo this season.
absolutely. Absolutely.
And then we've got that running theme of my driver of the day. He pulled over for his teammate to go past him. Once again, showing that, like, hey, I know I'm not faster. I don't know if it was a team order or not, but he still did it. At the end of the day, he still let Norris past him.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. Definitely not as high profile
Mm-hmm.
as the Paris one, but I mean, you can't like, man, a 5th, 6th finish from Norris and Ricardo.
Yep.
McLaren have to be just off their high on their horse that coming into this next week because
I would be.
it's a great result from them. My driver of the day, Chase, it has to go to Max. It has to go to Max
Mm-hmm.
Verstappen. This was a fantastic race from him. This was a fantastic race from his team. The two-stop strategy was obviously the correct choice, and literally Max like didn't really put a foot wrong. Minus
Lap one.
minus the first part, which was kind of sketchy. But he brought it back, and after that initial what's going on here? I mean, he was quick when he needed to be. He conserved his tires when he needed to. I mean, he had a perfect race.
Yeah.
Sans turn 1 or whatever turn that was.
Yeah, exactly. Like like you said, he was also calculated with his moves. Like he did make that mistake, but then like perfect from that point on.
Yep.
And I'm glad you chose him because if it wasn't for what Perez did for Max, I would have chosen Max.
Yeah. It was a great race. My second choice, my runner up, my number 2, actually is going to be Daniel Ricciardo's teammate Lando Norris.
Mm-hmm.
And here's why.
Yep.
I feel like week in, week out, we're talking, Max or, who's going to win, Max or Lewis, Max or Lewis. Lando Norris currently is in 4th place in the driver's standings, ahead of Valtteri Bottas in the Mercedes. Lando
Yep.
Norris is having a fantastic season, and he had another great race. This kid is so good. He's so very good. I think he's the best driver on McLaren. Like, if you were, I think Lando Norris is quicker than Daniel Ricciardo. I just do.
Yeah, that's clear.
This kid is going to be so good. McLaren needs to like hold on to him for
Mm-hmm.
like dear life, like Red Bull has done with Verstappen, and just be like, we'll pay you whatever you
Yep.
want. Please don't leave us. Please don't even think about leaving us, because Lando Norris has the potential to be a world champion.
They need to lock him in like Ferrari got Leclerc, because I'm telling you, let's say Hamilton doesn't retire, it's going to be Max, Hamilton, Norris for at least a couple years. I seriously think he's the third best driver on the grid.
If that McLaren car continues the upward trajectory it's on right now, they're currently in 3rd. They're about they've got 110 points, and Ferrari is right below them at 94. So I don't know what the math is. 16 points,
Mm-hmm.
16-point difference right now from McLaren and Ferrari. McLaren is in 3rd currently, and I think McLaren deserves to be probably to get that 3rd at the end of the season so far.
Mm-hmm.
But I do think Ferrari had a bad race this week. We can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, Ferrari and McLaren are really the only two that are in a good fight for that 3rd place, as I thought they'd be. Some people thought that Aston Martin would be. I said no, they need a year or two.
Yeah.
And I was right. But Lando Norris is very quietly, he's sneaky. He's having a fantastic season, Chase, and that's why he's my second pick.
Good pick.
Let's shift focus. Let's look at the bigger picture, Chase. Give me your team of the day.
Team of the day was rough, and I see you pretty much wrote down my thoughts. So, I chose Red Bull just because for me, there's no clearer choice. The perfect strategy, the great decisions, the phenomenal teamwork with Perez, the 3rd win in a row, the 2 podiums for second race in a row, I think? Or not in a row. I don't
No,
know.
yeah, second in a row.
Second in a row. Yeah. It's great. I mean, they showed that this week they were hands down the best team.
I think so. I have to agree with you. It's hard to argue with that. I did switch it up a little bit. I had Red Bull as my second pick because I felt that one was kind of obvious. But I am gonna shift back to McLaren.
Mm-hmm.
Again, 5th, 6th, exactly what they need. Honestly, exactly what they should be shooting for. That's right underneath both of the Red Bulls and the Mercedes. And again, the McLaren car is quick. It's probably the 3rd quickest car on the grid.
Yep.
It's just not quick enough to beat consistently if the drivers are consistent. I'm not talking if somebody crashes or if somebody spins out. It's just not quick enough to consistently beat a Red Bull or a Mercedes. So those teams getting 5th, 6th is you can't really ask for more than that. Anything above that is just honestly wishful thinking. And
I
if you
agree.
get it, it's fantastic. If you get it, it's fantastic. I'm not saying something like that, but 5th, 6th, I mean, Red Bull, Mercedes, McLaren. They can't ask for anything better than that. They literally can't. So that for that reason, McLaren has to be my pick. I just think this team is so well run, Chase. I love, obviously, I forget what his position is, but Zach Brown is kind of the head. He's, great dude. I've, heard him on some podcasts, and obviously he gets interviewed in like the Drive to Survive series, and he just knows how to win. Like, this guy's a winner. He knows how to win. He brings in the Le Mans guy, Andreas Seidel, who's their like team principal. He's the guy in charge of day to day. Again, a winner, a proven winner, a guy who knows how to put together a team and win races, and it shows. This McLaren team is really, really good. They're really consistent, Chase. They're really quick.
Yeah.
And I think if they continue on this upward trajectory in 2 seasons, hell, maybe even 1 season, who knows what's going to happen with these new changes? We could be looking at McLaren at the top. That's not even a joke. Like I'm
Yeah.
like that's serious.
I see it too. One thing about Zach Brown that I love is the way he manages with the positive.
Mm.
He seems positive to me, and I know he's had his negative moments, but like Toto slams his fists, when one of his drivers loses position. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm more of I like that style of like, yeah, you did good where you landed kind of attitude, and I think that's more of Zach Brown, you know.
I definitely feel that he just seems like a much happier guy than somebody like Total Wolf. Not that Total Wolf
Exactly.
is a
Exactly.
bad
Nothing
team
against Toto
principal.
Wolff.
Yeah, I to like his the way that he delegates. I think that is super super important when you're talking about a team leader like that, and
Mm-hmm.
hearing him in like podcasts and talking about Andreas, his like team principal, the guy more in charge of the day to day. They're very like, oh, okay, how much, like, the interviewer's always asking him like, how much do you really do? And he goes, I I leave everything to Andreas. Like I trust him completely. I trust him fully. If he needs something from me, he can come and talk to me. And I think like that's so important
Yeah.
to like a team to have like a clear like structure of leadership. I feel like sometimes that's missing in a team like, I don't know, like Aston Martin, who has such like a high profile like owner, where it's like, okay, dude, I'm sure the guys know who they kind of like report to, but then it's like when you get to the upper echelons of leadership, it's kind of like, oh, who's the boss? You know what I mean? Like it's very
Yeah.
clear who the boss is at McLaren, and I for that reason they're my team of the day.
Yeah. Good team. I would have chosen them if I didn't choose Red Bull.
Yeah, good pick. Let's talk. I really want to talk, Chase. I want to talk about George Russell. Okay.
Yeah. I saw that.
Too often we forget about our boy George Russell in the Williams. Chase, this guy got 12th.
I saw that.
He got 12th in a Williams. This
Uh-huh.
Williams is a bad car.
Very.
His
No
his
one's
teammate
denying it.
his teammate is 18th, just above the Haas's.
Well,
George Russell is George Russell is just simply too good to be driving a Williams. Am I right or am I right?
I completely agree. You said his teammate's 18th. I think the better thing to point out is that behind him's an AlphaTauri, then behind that's an Alpine, then behind that's an Alfa Romeo.
Yeah.
You know? And he's beating those.
The guy's insane.
He's
The guy's
beating
insane.
he's beating back mid pack. Not fully back of the pack, because that's just Haas, if we're being honest.
Yeah, it's just awesome.
He's beating them with the worst mid pack car.
Yes, absolutely. I just I don't see I just don't get why Mercedes hasn't pulled the trigger on this. Honestly, I don't know what they're waiting for.
If
I don't
they don't pull the trigger next year, I hate Mercedes. Like I like Mercedes right now. If they don't pull the trigger next year, I dislike them because that's a mistake.
It's a huge mistake. It's a huge, great, big mistake.
Yeah. Cause no offense to Valtteri, he's mid pack.
Full offense to Valtteri Bottas. He's a mid pack driver in a front of the pack car, and George Russell
In the top of the pack, dude.
is a front is a leading is a pole position driver in
Yeah.
a 17th 18th place car.
Yep.
I just
Definitely.
I honestly don't know what they're waiting for. Like legitimately. Like
I
they have all the strings tied to these other teams where they could easily just swap them. Like they could. Like we know they can.
think they're afraid. I think
I
that
I
they're
just
afraid that he's got too much of the winner's mentality and he won't be consistent like Bottas. But the problem with Bottas is he's not consistent. So, you know.
I do think they're afraid. I think it's for a different reason that you
Oh.
said though. Here's what I think. Okay, you've got Lewis Hamilton in the midst of another title fight, a serious title fight. This isn't no namby pamby like
He's
they're
winning it,
50
hands
points
down.
behind. He's winning it. He's gonna win it. Like we're not there. Okay, Lewis Hamilton is in the throes, word of the day, of a title fight with Max Verstappen. The last thing he needs is another guy up there with him.
Mm-hmm.
They know Valtteri Bottas can get the job done. He's not going to win a race unless something crazy happens. He's going to get fourth. He's going to get fifth. He's going to sneak in a second or a third in there. If you put George Russell in that fourth place, he's not going to give Hamilton an inch.
Yeah.
Valtteri Bottas, I do sort of feel bad for Valtteri Bottas because they really have they've taken what probably once was a very good driver, a very good young promising driver, and then just smashed him into place. And it's just they just kept pounding it into him. It's like, you're not as good as Lewis. You're not as good as Lewis. Move over for Lewis. Move over for Lewis. If you put George Russell in that car, he's not going to take that.
Yeah.
George Russell is a potential world champion. The guy can drive. He's young. He's quick. He's good looking. He's funny. Put him at the top of the pack, and people are gonna go crazy.
Mm-hmm. To expound a bit, that's kind of what I meant when I said Mercedes was afraid, and I said he's got that winner's champion, that championship winner attitude.
Absolutely.
I think they're afraid that he will challenge Hamilton too much. I think they want a Valtteri.
A role player.
Yeah, they may be like, "Oh, Valtteri, you didn't do your job," blah blah blah. One weekend, but the weekend he gets fourth, they're like, "Sure,
Good
that's
job.
fine."
Yeah, good job. George Russell needs to be in the second Mercedes seat for the good of the spectators, for the good of the sport, Chase. George Russell needs that Mercedes seat.
Yeah.
Let's talk 13th place, okay? Right below George Russell, Yuki Tsunoda. He's a rookie this year.
Yeah.
He's a rookie. He's in a decent car. That AlphaTauri car is quick. His teammate Pierre Gasly all the way up in 7th, almost doubled him. Pierre Gasly, a veteran though, 3-4 year veteran. I forget how long he's been in.
Yeah.
Yuki Tsunoda is still pretty good.
Yep.
I like Yuki Tsunoda quite a bit. I may be a little biased, but so Chase, let me pose you this question: what do you think is Yuki Tsunoda's ceiling? Do you think? I don't know. Can you? Do you think he's a potential world champion? Do you think he's worthy of a top team? What do you think his ceiling is? Let me know.
It's tough to say this early.
True.
And that's why he's on AlphaTauri, because Red Bull likes to bet things early. I think at worst, he's upper half of mid-pack. Couple years down the line, at worst. At best, I think he is a good number 2 as of right now. I'm not certain at his best he's a world champion, but he is a rookie. And I don't follow too much F2, so I haven't seen much of him. Currently, as this rookie, he's not looking the most promising, but he's not bad. So I think give it time and we'll have a better estimate. I think, let's say a year or two down the line, he's still pulling these. That's bad. A year or two down the line, he needs to be fighting Gasly, essentially.
Okay. I think I agree with that. I do think I agree with that. Here's my deal. This guy just seems to have it. He's just got that X factor. I feel like
Yeah,
he's a rookie, first year driving these cars. He's a small guy. He's probably the smallest guy on the grid. So driving that car for him cannot be easy. We hear all year long that these cars are insanely hard to drive. You know, they don't have power steering. You know, they don't have anything like that.
yeah,
So you're really muscling the car around the track. So I think in a few years, I agree. If he's not, I hate to think that Pierre would still be on AlphaTauri in a few years.
I agree.
So I think eventually Yuki will probably be their number one guy for a while.
Yeah,
And then I don't know, like look, we like to think Sergio's like getting old, but he's really not. He's not
no,
that old.
he's like 4 years younger than Hamilton.
Yeah, he's not really that old. He's got a few years in him potentially. And this is where we kind of, you know, we put on the fortune teller's hat, the turban,
Yeah,
and are like, okay, well, potentially if Yuki Tsunoda continues to get better and better and better, and Max stays with Red Bull for the rest of his career, which I think he will. I think
will.
Red Bull's smart enough to realize what they have in Max Verstappen.
I think Max is also smart enough to understand what he has in Red
Yeah,
Bull.
exactly. Sergio Perez in a few years will either retire or just not keep the same consistency that he has, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I think we're looking at Red Bull's future number 2 until something happens with Max, whether he retires. I know that is so far out. Max is
Very far.
16. Like, he's so young. He's not 16, but he's only like what, 24?
He
22?
could a decade later from now, he's still younger than Hamilton is now. Like, add a decade to him, he's still younger.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
he's
can
literally
see that.
a year old. He's a year older than me, so he's 23. Max is
The
still
the
23.
debate is someone else going to become the Red Bull's second driver that's outside of the program once again?
I don't think so.
You don't think Sainz,
No.
or you don't think, I don't know.
I think Carlos Sainz is going to be Leclerc's number 2 for quite a while.
Yeah, but
don't think-
I also think Perez is going to be Red Bull's number 2 for a while. So
I know, but I in my opinion, Sergio Perez is going to drop off before any of these guys start to. Do you know what I mean?
any of the ones we've mentioned?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Before.
Yeah.
I mean, he's going to drop off. Excuse me. Well before like a Carlos Sainz does.
Oh, yeah,
definitely.
definitely.
I just don't think there's anything more valuable than actual F1 experience. So the more years you're out of F1,
Exactly.
I like a guy like Alex Albon. I
Mhm.
think will maybe get another shot. Not at a Red Bull team.
Not at Red Bull. Not at a
Red
top.
Bull team. Not at a top team. But I think Yuki Tsunoda is like, once we start to see Sergio Perez, like I forget how long of a contract Perez signed, maybe just a year,
I think it's 2.
2 years. Granted, I think no matter what happens, they'll probably re-sign him because he's been fantastic for him so far.
Oh, yeah.
I don't see a reason why they wouldn't. I'm sure, like, he's a great guy by all accounts. You know, they get along. There's no like, I mean, he's clearly a fantastic teammate with what we saw on the track this week.
Exactly. I see
He's the perfect.
no problems with him. I think
he's perfect.
Yeah, I think he's literally the perfect second place for Max right now. Current grid. I could see Tsunoda. I think that's what they want. They want Tsunoda to be the second place driver eventually. Will he? That's the debate. It won't be Gasly. Sorry, Gasly, you had your chance. You, I don't know, cracked under the pressure. Didn't get it. You're doing great in other cars, but that's what it'll be from now on. Other cars.
Unfortunate for Pierre, but I do think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think you might get a shot at a top team a few years down the line.
Sure, not Red Bull. I don't think Red Bull wants him back.
No, I don't think Red Bull. I bet he probably does not want to go back to Red Bull.
I wouldn't be. Because The problem with going to Red Bull is your teammate's gonna be Max.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to be a podium finisher and a world champion, which pretty much everybody on the grid, minus the old guys, wants to be a world champion. Otherwise, they wouldn't be here.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna want Max as your second place,
True.
as your teammate, because you know Max is not gonna let you be a world champion on the same team.
The Lion.
Mm-hmm.
Max Verstappen's
Exactly.
crazy. He's
He
so
is.
good. He's so good, Chase.
I have no doubt in my mind that he is currently better than Hamilton.
I said that from day one, Chase.
Yeah.
I had that take. I wake up with that take. I wake up in the morning and go, oh, Max Verstappen.
Dude, I'll be happy 10 years down the line if he passes Hamilton in championships,
Oh
because
man, that would be fantastic.
I seriously think he deserves it.
I think he
I
could.
want to see him
The
beat
kid's
Hamilton.
incredible. He's
Not that
so good.
Hamilton's bad or that I dislike Hamilton. It's just the fact that he's over 10 years younger than Hamilton and he's beating him in a debatably worse car.
Yeah,
You know?
it's amazing. Let's switch focus. Let's talk bad. Let's talk poor. Let's talk worst of the weekend, Chase.
Yeah.
Go ahead. What's yours?
My worst of the weekend, nothing major stood out for me that, surpassed something else. So I kind of have two. I have Valtteri just letting Max do whatever the crap he wants. Uh, and then I have Leclerc just being honestly back of the mid pack. So with Valtteri, this is my problem with Valtteri. His time to shine as Hamilton's right hand man, keep Max Verstappen held up, does it for like a lap, and then boop, Max is gone. And then a lap later, howdy Perez, oop, Perez is gone. Just
Yep.
best car on the grid gets passed by these two people, you know. And then just I don't know quite what happened with Leclerc, but I hate to harp on the guy because I know he's one of the best on the grid, but getting lapped in a Ferrari behind a Williams, behind both the AlphaTauris, or yeah, both the AlphaTauris are.
Yeah, both of them. Not a great race. I think overall from Ferrari, I think was it last week or the week before where I was like, okay, Ferrari's back. That was a bad take. That was a bad take.
Yeah,
Ferrari still clearly have some issues. This might have been a fluke, granted,
yeah, I
but
think it
11th,
was.
but both cars completely out of the points for a
Yeah,
team that wants to be challenging for third, Chase.
bad. While they're third, while the
Yikes.
Challenger is fifth and sixth, the two best places you could hope for if you're not
Yeah.
Mercedes or Red Bull.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Bad. Bad. Bad from Ferrari. Very bad. Bad Ferrari.
I don't know what happened personally, but I hate to see Leclerc down that far because I know he deserves better.
Yeah, me too. All right, that'll probably be it. I think we can call it there.
Yeah.
So we've had two practice sessions for the Styria Grand Prix
Yeah,
in
probably
Austria, the
two.
Red Bull Ring. I haven't looked at the results because I don't think I will usually look at practice 3 because that's when I think teams kind of try. But
Yeah, exactly.
um, man, well, who do you got? Who do you got on the podium?
Podium number 1, Max Verstappen. I think he's got it. I
Yep,
think
I
he gets
agree.
it this year because
Yep.
the last two times we were at the Austrian Grand Prix, guess what Mercedes did? They pulled out, what was it, DAS?
Yes,
DAS. Yeah,
the two axle front steering. Yeah.
exactly. They pulled that bad boy out. And how do you compete? You don't compete. So I think this time, if Mercedes doesn't pull some magic out of their pocket, I think Max wins. I think Perez is second. I think he follows, and I think I think Norris is third. I'm gonna gamble and say Mercedes has a bad weekend.
Okay. Pretty similar to you. Verstappen won. I think this is very quietly one of Lando Norris's best tracks. I think he's gonna get second, and I think Lewis Hamilton's gonna get third. That's what I think. That's what I think.
I could see it as
But I
long.
can't wait. I can't wait. I'm so ready. I'm so ready.
Yeah, as long as Hamilton doesn't get first or second, I'm gonna be happy with the results.
Yeah, exactly. Me too. All right, Chase. Well, thank you so much for joining me once again.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'll see you later.
All right, see ya.